I'm Brian Winsor. I was a principal for a number of years and worked with some good people in this room. As a principal some years ago at a charter school, and then I flew around the country as a consultant, seeing a lot of different charter schools around. And then I was a principal again with my good friend Rachel Hollenbeck, who teaches 6th grade at Burke Basic School. And we had a great time there. And now I'm doing consulting again with the principal's office. And I'm blessed to have my good friend Keith Greer here with us, who's one of my partners. And my other partner, Laura Lilleberg, was here.
She went to go sign up for the lunch.
She went to do the lunch thing. Hey, what we're going to talk about today for a bit, and we want you to go away with something in your hand that you've created. Normally we'd have round tables or some way for you to collaborate together, but we don't. So you're going to have to collaborate on your laps and do the work that way. We're going to talk a little bit about putting away the paddle. It's a book that I've been working on for a number of years, and this idea that the paddle representing every coercive method of controlling behavior, every manipulative method of controlling behavior, and any external type of method that we sometimes get in the habit of controlling. My underlying philosophy of behavioral intervention is that nature resists force. You cannot force a rose to bloom. You can't force an orange tree to produce good oranges. Can you imagine the guy underneath the orange tree with a chainsaw, revving that chainsaw up saying, hey, you better produce some good oranges here or I'm coming after you with the chainsaw and they better be juicy, dadgummit. That never works in nature, and it doesn't work with our kids as well. And this afternoon we're going to talk a little bit about, in my other session, about it doesn't work with staff either. We can't coerce people into. Here's some foundations I want us to totally understand on behavioral intervention. These foundations must be in place before you apply any type of positive behavioral intervention with supports. Number one is you've got to have within your environment these positive school environments before you can intervene on especially tough kid behavior. We always have those little great kids who are compliant and do whatever you need them to do. They're teacher pleasers, but how many of you guys have tough kids? It's maybe the 1% who have a ripple effect. You have to have those positive school environments. That's not what we're going to talk about today. The next thing you have to do is what we're going to focus in on today is consequences that teach. And this is an underlying premise that I think works. All consequences teach something. The next level up is some reductive consequences. This works for most kids. Most kids will comply if you have this. The rest of the kids will comply if you have this. Now, some kids are going to have to go on to some reductive consequences. A number of years ago, when I was just a brand new young guy, I was a new parent. We had 2 little boys. And I thought I was wise enough to give parenting classes based on some of my evolving and behavioral intervention ideas. So I was teaching this idea of consequences that teach. And in our neighborhood, we had a gentleman who he was a law enforcement, he was in law enforcement, a big guy in law enforcement. And he ran his home much like he would run the correctional facility that he worked at. And so we worked with him a lot about how do we handle these boys he has. Well, one day he came to me and told me the story that the custodian of the church across the street brought his boys to him and told him he had 2 boys about this age. Marched him to his house and said, your 2 boys were just in the church and they made a terrible mess in the bathroom. There's mud, there's water, dirt, everywhere in that bathroom, and shoved the boys through the door. Well, the law enforcement guy inside of him wanted to lock them up, put them up against the wall, frisk them down, get them a knee on the back of the neck, and get them cuffed up and put into their prison, their bedroom. But he remembered some principles. So he said, all right, boys, here's what we're going to do. To help you to understand and to learn, we're going to have you clean the upstairs bathroom and the basement bathroom. We're going to have you clean it military perfect style. Took him to the upstairs bathroom, had him clean it, and he kept going back in, saying, no, that's not good enough. He had little toothbrushes, and wipes and everything, and he had it doing sparkling clean, 7 and a 9-year-old. Then while they were up there doing that, he says, that looks good enough. We're going to be okay. So he had them go downstairs to the downstairs bathroom, and he had them do the same thing to the downstairs bathroom. And while they were doing that to the downstairs bathroom, what do you think he was doing to the upstairs bathroom? He was trashing that thing. He was totally mud, soap on the mirrors. He trashed the upstairs bathroom. Well, Mom was gone that Saturday. Mom comes back from shopping and stuff, and the boys are very proud of their work they had done. So Dad says, hey, honey, come on downstairs. I want to show you here's what happened. The boys trashed the bathrooms over the church, and I want to show you what they've done as their consequence. So he took them downstairs, and one of the boys had just freshly cleaned, and Mom's looking at us saying, oh, this is so wonderful, boys. That's just great. So then he took them back upstairs, opened the door, and what did the mom see? A trashed bathroom. Her mouth went open, and she almost went law enforcement on the dad a little bit. What did the boys do? They immediately started to cry because they saw all that effort that they had done go totally away. So this dad had two choices right then. He could have looked down at them, towering above them, saying, see, now do you know how it feels? You dadgum little farts. Do you know how this feels now? Oh, I said farts. I'm sorry. Do you know how this dadgum thing feels? Now you know how that custodian feels. No. This dad knelt down, hugged his boys in as they cried and said, all right, boys, now you know how it feels. Let's get to work and let's clean this bathroom. So the dad helped the boys clean the bathroom. Do you think those boys will ever trash a bathroom or not? I don't know. They might. But while they're trashing it, they'll remember. they'll remember that lesson. I don't think they ever will. I think what happened was they understood the consequence. They understood the ramifications of their behavior. And more importantly, they established a deep and abiding relationship of love and trust with an adult. And that's the essence of consequences that teach.